And we say that this has been done, this is being done elsewhere in the world. It's not going to be the first time that's done here. We are not reinventing the wheel. That in an industry as sensitive as ours, and I want you to bear in mind that you're different from people that manufacture seats on the factory floor. It's important that there be self-regulation. And of great importance in that self-regulation is ethics, professionalism, conduct, training, and all those things. But all those things must be housed, monitored, and be run by a professional outfit that takes guidance and some guidance from the profession itself. So, because the moment you and this has been shown, I'm sure you guys have studied the government media councils in Kenya and Uganda and everywhere else. The moment you allow whatever government, and this doesn't mean just Zambia government, MDC government, the government in Namibia and so forth, the moment you allow government to play a role in the regulation of media, you introduce a factor that's going to complicate things. And why is that so? It's because the biggest player in any society is the government because of the taxes that they consume. And the government tends to attract quite a lot of attention. The government doesn't pay attention that's focused to it. And therefore, they are a player. They should not participate in regulating the press as it were. That's my thesis. And so far, I've not been seen disproved anyway in the world. Self-regulation is the way to go to avoid interference by the private sector, by the government, by everybody else. I didn't quite understand your question about are we non-pawns? We're pawns to the extent that we don't have a vision and mission of ourselves. If we don't know where we're going, then anybody's going to be able to come and use us and abuse us. But if as people, as organizations, we are driven by a mission, a vision, and a purpose, anybody that comes in with anything else will not be able to use you. So, no, I don't consider myself to be anybody, somebody who is a pawn in anything. A pawn is somebody who is not aware of the things that are taking place around them. But if you're aware, you're conscious of what's happening around you, you're going to be careful. Let me share something with you that I always say to my guys, which I'm sure you might have learned. That is, in journalism, the other thing that some of you might not know, but I'm sure you've read about it, is that I've never been to a school of journalism. Okay? So maybe, hence the nonsense I'm saying. But what's important, what I've realized is that in journalism, you must always be suspicious of every source that comes to you. If you're not suspicious of every source that comes to you, that's when you run the danger of being a pawn. Because here is the truth. Every source that comes to you with a piece of information has an agenda. And you, as a journalist, must ask yourself, what is his agenda? What is his mission? Does his agenda and his mission fit within the mission, the vision, and the direction of where we're going, that we've set ourselves? If you can't question yourself like that and you trust every source that comes to you, then you're going to be used as a pawn, because you don't know what your purpose is. Which takes me to the issue about influence and ownership and donors. Thank you for a very frank person. I'm told, I don't read Manelu, but I'm told there's been a lot of things that are pegged there about who owns Alpha Media Holdings, who's funding Alpha Media Holdings, and so forth. Some people speculate without coming to us like the ladies asked, I never know. There are no international donors who are giving money to Alpha Media Holdings. There are no international organizations who are controlling Alpha Media Holdings. At Alpha Media Holdings, when all is said and done, when I've told you that the editors take control of the papers and everything else, When it comes to the funding of those newspapers, the buck stops here. When it comes to who is responsible for things that go wrong, the buck stops here. We have a very transparent shareholding structure that we've shared with people. Alpha Media Holdings is owned by my family company, Vusumus Investments. We have partnered with a foreign investor. It's known by the Reserve Bank, it's known by the Minister of Finance, it's known by everybody else who own 39% of Alpha Media Holdings. It's never been a secret, it's out there. Those are the partners that I'm in business with. And none of those, I have the final say in terms of what happens. I own 61% of Alpha Media Holdings. In as much as everybody has the freedom to express themselves, like a father or a mother in a house must take responsibility of what happens there. I take responsibility for the good and the bad that happens at Alpha. If there's anything that you are not happy about at Alpha, you come to me and I'll tell you, I'll be able to direct you to the person maybe that you should be talking to. But at the end of the day, let me say straightforward to you, there's nobody else that controls Alpha except me. In my partnership with board members, again, we've got a transparent board members. If you read the Zimbabwe Independent, Standard, and Newsday, we've got a board of directors that's made public to everybody else. So there are no secrets as far as that is concerned. Again, to the issue of one of the mistakes I've made in life, and I am not perfect. I'm a human being. I've made so many mistakes in life. Two of them have been cited today. The one by my friend this hour regarding the disclosure of sources in private. Perhaps one of my most difficult moments in my profession, where as editor of the Financial Gazette, we ran a story, and we were compelled to go before Parliament to disclose our sources. And it was, I must confess to you, that the day when I write my book, that's perhaps one of the most painful chapters to write. I think agonizing is an understatement, but we had an option to tell Parliament who our sources were, or go to prison for 2 years. And me and my reporter deliberated over that. And we decided that we were not going to disclose our sources. We were going to go to prison. As we were about to be led to the committee, that was chaired by, if I'm not wrong, that was chaired by the late Sid Maluma. He came out of that room and took us into a private room and said, "This is what has just happened. Your source has approached me to tell me that he's your source, because he feels you guys can't be going through what he's going through. He feels you should honor that he's your source. So we now know who the source is. So what are you going to do?" Again, not an easy one. I should have said, "Well, if he's told you, that's fine, but you're not going to hear it from me." But we went in there and we said, "But Mr. Chairman, we understand that you already know." So when the chairman asked us, "Are you prepared to tell us?" "Mr. Chairman, we've been told that you already know the sources." But the chairman said, "Yes, but the rest of the house wants to hear it from you." Put yourself in my position. Maybe don't. I had to make a call. And I have reflected on this many times. And I made a call that perhaps I shouldn't have. I should have refused and said, "Mr. Chairman, you might know, but you're not going to hear it from me. But I'm sorry I didn't do that. I made a mistake." Another error of judgment. But this then says to me, which is the point that one of the points that I've raised. I've said, why should we have a law that journalists should disclose their sources? Maybe I'm trying to cover my cowardice. Maybe I'm trying to cover my cowardice and say, by saying, don't ask me, because if you ask me, I'm going to tell. I don't have the strength to withhold. But that's the answer that I give you there. Fingers, I think you're reading it the way you're reading it, in terms of the position that the fingers is taken. You're saying the Zimbabwean they decided to be MDCT. I don't know, I've not heard them say that, but I think you can sort of read in between the lines. You say Alpha Media Holdings, there's an allegation that we're MDCM. Again, I'll share this with you because I don't think it's private. I had a delegation in 2006, 2005 of MDCM parliamentarians, 3 of them, come to my home and saying, why are you so supportive of MDCT? We went through the stories that they had. Look at the story, look at that story, look at the story. But it became even much more complex because the allegation that I've had is that the standard is pro-MDCT. The Zimbabwe Independent is pro-MDCM. And I sat down with my guys and said, why do you do this? And we laugh about it because we know it's not true. So, but as they say in life, perception is much more important than reality. There's a perception out there that there was a time, one of our titles supported. That is not true. There is one call that we made, which was public, because you can read editorials and that kind of stuff, which is, in our view, and this we have said with reserve judgment, when it comes to election time, we might want to make a call, like all newspapers do. And we will say the editors deliberate on this issue. The standard editors will sit down and deliberate on the issue. Who do you think you want to support? The proprietor should not be there. The Zimbabwe Independent and Newsday should make a call with everybody having been consulted. I've seen it work elsewhere. And you make a call on that kind of thing. You don't involve the proprietor. Because the newspaper is a corporate citizen. And it should be allowed, if it so wishes, to make a call. But the fact that it has made a call on that particular election